Candidate of the Labour Party, LP, Mr. Peter Obi, has accused President Bola Tinubu of attempting to blackmail the Presidential Election Petition Court, PEPC, sitting in Abuja. Obi said he was alarmed in the final written address he filed before the court when he heard the claim by Tinubu and the ruling All Progressives Congress APC that nullifying the outcome of the presidential election held on February 25 would cause anarchy in the country. In the process he filed through his team of lawyers led by Levi Uzoku, SAN. The LP candidate described the submission by President Tinubu and the APC as desperation taken too far. According to him, a sentence in the second and third respondent address alarmed the petitioners and millions of Nigerians. The second and third respondents went too low and abandoned discretion when they claimed as follows. Our submission is that the petitioners are inviting anarchy by their ventilation of the issue of non-transmission of results electronically by INEC. This is a cheap, misguided and destructive blackmail clearly intended to target the country's judicialism and constitutionalism. It also aims at cannibalizing our democracy. It will also raise the issue of insecurity if the petitioners emulate the bad example of the second and third respondents. However, that will never happen. When has it become offensive to canvass a ground prescribed for the challenge of an election in Section 134, subsection 1b of the Electoral Act 2022? Desperation taken too far can be extremely dangerous. Let the second and third respondents know that where the rule of law is trampled upon or truncated, anarchy reigns supreme, Obi added in the final written address he filed alongside his party. Meanwhile, Peter Obi urged the Justice Haruna Samani-led 5-member panel to uphold and grant all the reliefs he sought in the petition seeking to remove President Tinubu from office. Obi noted that whereas he called 13 witnesses and tendered several documentary evidence to prove his petition, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) called one witness, while President Tinubu and the APC also called one witness. He told the court that before the presidential election, the Vice President Kashim Shettima was previously nominated as a senatorial candidate of the APC for Borno Central Senatorial District. The petitioners insisted that the VP Shettima remained a senatorial candidate till July 15, 2022, when he withdrew his nomination. Whilst the third respondent was standing nominated as a senatorial candidate, as AFO stated, he was unlawfully nominated as the vice presidential candidate of the fourth respondent on July 14, 2022, thereby knowingly allowed himself to be nominated as a candidate in more than one constituency within the meaning and intendment of Section 35 of the Electoral Act. The petitioners argued that the invalid nomination of Shettima as the vice presidential candidate nullified the nomination and election of Tinubu as the presidential candidate of APC within the meaning of the provision of Section 143 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. On the issue of Tinubu's alleged involvement in a drug-related case, Obi and the LP averred it is common knowledge that the second respondent was the subject of an order of forfeiture made by the United States District Court, Northern District of Illinois, Eastern Division in case number 93C4483. The order of forfeiture against the second respondent was in terms forfeiting the sum of $460,000 against him, Bola Tinubu, which represents proceeds of narcotics trafficking and money laundering. The order for forfeiture against the second respondent was a fine within the meaning of Section 137, subsection 1d of the 1999 Constitution, for which a person shall not be qualified for election to the office of the President if he is under a sentence of fine for an offence involving dishonesty or fraud by whatever name called, imposed on him by a court or tribunal. The virus of the statutory and constitutional disqualification of the second and third respondents as candidates in the presidential election renders their purported return and declaration as the winners of the election invalid null and void, and liable to be set aside, OB and LP argued. While accusing INEC of deliberately refusing to electronically transmit results of the presidential election from polling units to the IREF portal using the bimodal voter accreditation system BVAS, the petitioners further alleged that the electoral body eventually uploaded blood results to its portal.